Hey there, and happy Tuesday, or should I say happy opening day of the new catalog. Oh, I better make sure that I turn my volume down today before I get going here. Yeah, it's been an exciting day. I love seeing what everybody's excited about, and I got up and I placed my order right away because I just knew there were certain things I wanted to get before they sold out, and yet I haven't heard of any struggles of anybody saying, oh, I couldn't get what I wanted and stuff such. So that was always kind of fun. Hey there, Lisa. And today I'm kicking off Brenda Stuckey's virtual stamp party. I think the way it was spelled, I mispronounced it like the last time she had a party. And she's from Iowa, and I met her at the Okoboji crafting retreat, and we've just hit it off like crafting sisters do. So here's card number one for Brenda's virtual stamp party, her card number one. So yeah, it's Brenda Stuckey, and in Small Story is like one of her friends growing up. Her son and my son were roommates in college, up until like the last couple of months. So that's kind of been fun to make small connections like that too. And so that's, I think, who ended up correcting me in how I said her last name. She's like, I know Brenda. So it's always fun to make those connections and to know that the world's always a little bit bigger as your kids go off to college too. Hey there, Jeannie. So I think I've got myself here on my iPad, and I am ready to go. So I'm gonna bring my camera around to that other angle. Today I kind of wanted to do a different, like, simpler card, but yet bring in lots of fun new products. And with that, a lot of you commented how you liked the vellum on the last card series I did for my hostess Lois. And so I thought, well, let's bring in some more vellum. And what I did was ordered from the brand new catalog. And since the catalog went live today, I can show you not only the front, but I can show you the inside. So the Botanical Layers bundle is on page 93. So the bundle of this, usually when you think bundles, you think of dies or punches with stamp sets, but what makes this a bundle is the stamp set and then this really pretty fun vellum paper. So I want to kind of show you, you can see the different samples here, and this really caught my eye when they put that together, and I thought, you know what, let's get this and see what it's all about. And with that, I'll show you the different papers. So you'll get 5 of this pattern here, and then you'll get 5 of that pattern here. You'll get 5 of this one, which is really fun to put different things on the inside. And I'm even thinking, like when I work with this, of taking my blending brushes around the edges there. This might be really fun with blending brushes too, and a nice open circle there for your greeting. 5 of those, and then you get a whole bunch of these. I'm trying to see, so 5, 10, 15, 20. Let me just go to the page so that way you kind of know. Page 139 has the actual description of the vellum. You can tell I'm new with this catalog. Okay, so you get, yes, 5 each of the 4 printed designs, and then you get 40. Yeah, I was going to say 20 because 40 just sounded like way too much, but you actually get 40 of these plain sheets of vellum, and so you get a package of 60, and you might go, well, I can just buy the vellum, you know, like packages 8.5 by 11, but I love this size. This is going to be so fantastic to have 40 sheets cut. So when I do this card here for you guys today, know that I had to do no cutting at all for this, and you could just put it on cardstock, but I double matted today because I liked the look of it with this, and just adding to that. So that's what makes up the Botanical Layers bundle here. And lots of fun things too. I think these would all be beautiful embossed images and such, but today I'm just going to stamp right on the vellum because sometimes I kind of forget to show you, you can stamp right on vellum as well. So what I'm going to do first is actually take out one of those sheets of vellum. I knew that I'd be showing it to you and I'd have them here, so I didn't lay out one with my little card sample here. So the colors that I'm using, let me give you a little bit wider view here, and that will show you Brenda's name. So what I'm going to show you here is the color combination, and I've got some smoky slate, the basic white, and then that new in color parakeet party here. So kind of a nice bright green. I compared it to years ago when we had lemon lime, and lemon lime looked really yellow compared to this. So it's a nice bright green, and I think it's gonna make this look fantastic. And I love how this color pairs with smoky slate, but I also love how so many colors pair with smoky slate. It just seems like it goes with everything. So that's always kind of nice. Hi there, Lois, and hi, Joyce, and hi, Julie. Thanks for joining in. So when I start with this, I'm going to pull out some scratch paper or scrap paper because I'm going to be stamping off my paper or off my vellum a little bit. So with that parakeet party, I'm going to open up that ink pad. They're always a little bit harder to open the very first time I use them, or the very first few times. And then, like I said, there was several options I could have went with, but I'm going with this image right here. And then I'm going to pull in that little one. And today I'm also using the Thinking of You from that stamp set. So by inking this up here, just going to kind of start in the top corner. Whoops, and it kind of stuck. Okay, that scared me when I saw that on my scratch paper. I thought I'd accidentally blopped it right on there. And then I'm just going to kind of go over like so, and just kind of keep filling in like at an angle and kind of down here, and then just doing a couple extra spots that aren't full strength here, but I'm still going to go over those spots full strength. So it's going to look nice and full here. So we've got kind of that angle going there, and that's all I'm going to do for stamping. And if you have it where you're stamping, you have a little window like here or there, don't worry about filling that in, because I feel like that looks just kind of how nature is. When I look in my grove, there's always those little windows that kind of peek out there, and that's what makes it kind of fun and natural looking. So I'm just going to set that aside and then open up my smoky slate ink pad here. Hi there, Carol. Now with that tiny little dot, I always say I love these stamp sets that have little accent pieces. So I'm just going to kind of fill in here and there with this little dot in that smoky slate color here, like so. So we have now that like there. Okay, and that's what we're going to do so far for the stamping there. And I'm just going to set this aside. So you kind of have to be careful with the vellum, and I feel like my lighting is doing a good job of picking up that you can see that it's wet, because vellum doesn't dry very fast. But we're going to set that aside, and I'll tell you how to help it along here in just a little bit. And next, what I'm going to do is I want to make sure I don't get green or extra ink on here. I'm going to pull out our Versamark ink, and we're going to emboss the Thinking of You from the Botanical Layers stamp set. So I'm just going to ink that up, and you really can't see that there's any ink on there. And then with some silver embossing powder, put on a whole bunch there, you can see. And then I just tap off the extra so you can see all that powder there. And I'm going to get my heat gun here. And I'm just going to heat that up. I always hope, my goal is for you guys to always kind of see that pop of when it really gets heated up and changes from the loose powder look to nice bright gold, or excuse me, silver image. I never know if that really happens or not. And some of it, I think, is just my background has distractions for my camera. But there you can see it looks nice and shiny, and it's raised there, so it looks extra special now. And as long as I have my heat tool out, now I'm going to do that same thing, heat up my vellum. But I want to be super careful. I want to hold it in my light so that I can really see. As soon as things get dry on there, I'm pulling it away from that area, because vellum, if it gets heated up too much, will tend to want to like wrinkle or crinkle. and we don't want that to happen either, but I also don't want to smear that ink on my vellum. So I kind of move it around a lot because I always feel like, you know what, I can go back and just add a little bit more heat. But the last thing I want to do is have a crinkled mess on a card. And then the fun thing about that is when it's heat set like that, now it almost looks like part of the vellum. It almost looks like the vellum came this way. And so it'll be interesting to see when I use this type of layout with different colors. So for today, for instance, I almost used like the Orchid Oasis, which is one of the new ink colors too. I wanted to use one of the new ink colors. Not that I would do this on here, but if I would have made those little tiny dots like the Orchid Oasis color, that would look really pretty too on there. So you could change it up and do all sorts of things based on just the ease of which those leaves would look good with so many different colors. Hi there, Lois. All right, so I've got this, and I'm gonna set that aside now that it's dry, and I'm pulling out my double oval punch, and that I'm going to just center in there like so. And because I used the silver embossing powder on there to make it look extra special, I wanted to coordinate that with a little piece of the silver foil. So if you remember this coming out, they brought it back into the new annual catalog. So you get a few different shades of silver. Some of them are almost like a purplish tone. So I'm curious how that will look with some of our papers. I think it'll kind of be a nice combination to have some of the purplish silver look to go with that. So that comes in the 12 by 12 pack again, returning favorite, or however you want to put it. So that I'm just going to feed into the top part of my double oval punch to mat with my thinking of you. So set that aside. Now these two pieces are ready to go, whoops, together. There, just put a new thing in so it's a little bit sticky until I get it going. All right, so we've got thinking of you on there, and that makes for a nice little sentiment to stand out. And now I want this to pop up on top of my vellum. So I'm just going to add a couple of these dimensionals to do just that. And this is where I get to my teaching point always of be careful when you use vellum because you will see your adhesive. So far what I'm doing, actually I don't want the distraction of that background, so I want to kind of center this on that new parakeet parakeet party. There we go. It's like, what's the name of that new color? So I kind of want to have that centered so I know that this is going on straight. So I'm going to put that on. And so far, no adhesive is on here. Hey there, Tori. But what I'm going to do now is flip this over, and I'm like, you know what? Now I can put some adhesive on the back side of where that is because that's going to cover it up. And then I'm actually going to take and do my embellishments right away too. So I looked at different embellishments and I wanted something sparkly, but not too over the top. And I love these iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. There's some larger and some smaller. And what I love about it is how it, depending on even how it's reflecting my craft room, it looks like blues or greens or pinks or yellows. And so that will just coordinate with all sorts of projects. And I'm going to take one of the larger ones here, just kind of put that there, and a smaller one over to the side, and then another smaller one, whoops, up here. So now what that also allows me to do is flip that over and go, you know what, these are alternate spots that I can put some glue dots. You know, you can't just put a whole dot of my seal adhesive, but I can take a glue dot and just put it right on the back side of that. And I can put a glue dot on the back side. It's going to be a little bit bigger, but it's still going to get covered up by that accessory there. I'm going to put one here, and I already know that I'm going to put some ribbon, some of that new ribbon along the edge there. So since I have it tipped over, because I put the ribbon on first when I was making my sample, and I thought, you know what, could have put those glue dots on instead of trying to squeeze them in. So I'm just going to put one on each corner there, knowing that's going to get covered up. Now this is ready to go on here, and so we've got some good touch points for where those adhesive spots are going to be on there. I'm still going to just kind of tip it over and press like this, just in case there's any chance that any of this vellum would still be a little wet from the ink pad. I don't want to smear that because so far so good. Hi there, Barb. So now it's ready to go. Well, actually, before I put it on, I'm going to put that ribbon around first before I put it on my card base. So for the pretty shiny ribbon, you guys, I just recently used this it's called metallic woven ribbon, but today I'm using Parakeet Party. Last week I used the Starry Sky, and these are all so pretty. Like, look at that. So I want to do a double kind of layer here. Last week I just used, it was trying to be dainty. I used just like a single layer. So I want to hold that down so it doesn't look like it's getting twisted. And this is like 1/8 inch, so kind of have to hold things down because it would tend to want to maybe curl a little bit, but not terrible. Let's see if, nope, that didn't work with my big fat fingers. Okay, I'm just gonna go for, just need a little bit more ribbon there. I always keep it attached to the spool so that I have plenty to work with. Can't get it to wrap around my finger very well. There we go. Now that feels better already. Okay, so I've got that on there. There we go. So have that on there. And then sometimes what I like to do with working with this, and I think I mentioned it last time, I want to trim off the really frayed edges, but I also kind of like the look of the frayed edges, and it doesn't take much to kind of pull those apart a little bit and have it look a little extra special by doing a little extra fraying on there. I'm gonna get rid of those extra little flecks that kind of shredded there. So that's kind of a fun look there. And now this is ready to go on my card front. So it's kind of different to have all of my embellishments on there before I even get it on my card front, but it works for today's card so that we have really nice looking vellum that has no adhesive showing, which is always my goal when I work with vellum. So that card base, I forgot to tell you, is smoky slate, opening that way, and it just is a nice complement with the silver foil there too. And I love this color combination, like I said at the beginning. So this Parakeet Party with the smoky slate is really nice together. And now with this being a thinking of you card, I'm just going to take that same leaf image there from the stamp and just kind of stamp that on the inside like so. So we have a carry through of from the outside to the inside. Thank you, Joyce. Kind of simple, but yet I think people that receive this card will go, wow, that's pretty elegant. And thinking of you, like I said yesterday when I made a thinking of you card, it can be very useful for different occasions, birthday, sympathy, you know, sending a note card to really tell somebody that you're thinking of them, a get well or anything like that. So that's very helpful that way too. So like I said, I love just kind of the daintiness of this new metallic ribbon, and just how it kind of complements without taking over, and I can add all sorts of just little sparkly details that make it coordinate in a sparkly way to make it a fun project. But like I said, it'd be so easy to do any of these new layered vellum looks and do something like that, switch out the colors. And so it'll be interesting to see what I can come up with, you guys, to show all those different things, because I always feel like when I start a project with you guys using different products, I want to kind of finish and follow up on, hey, look what else we can do with that too, so that if you're interested ever in buying things, especially with the catalog being new today, I don't want you feeling ever stuck with, okay, I got this and I have one idea, now what? So I'll be doing more with that too. Hi there, Ginger. Thanks, Tori. So that is today's card number 1 for Brenda Stuckey. And let me flip my camera around here for you. And so how you will get this card, as well as the next 2 that I'll be making, which will be tomorrow and Thursday. Yeah, I had to think about that one. Yes. So as I make these cards, then I keep track of who's ordering using her host code. So a minimum $25 order using her host code will get you the 3 cards that I'm making for a party as a thank you from both Brenda and I. And if you have any questions or need any help ordering, please let me know. As things come through from Stampin' Up, like there's a new kit for the Kits collection today that started, so I have information out on that. If you need some new clothes and want to have a Stampin' Up logo on it, they have that today that they added. That's not just for demonstrators, but also for customers too. And then they also have the new starter special too. So if you've ever thought about joining Stampin' Up and want to convert your wish list into a starter kit, you can do that because you can put anything you want into a starter kit, which is great too. So like I said, lots going on. And if you have questions, please let me know. But otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow afternoon with card number 2. Now I'm going to go take a picture of this card and list the supplies to help you guys out, because I know a lot of you pay attention to that to help with your ordering. Take care and have a great rest of your night. Bye-bye.